Welcome to Speaking of Adoption, where we dive into the heart of adoption, sharing real stories, breaking down myths, and shining a light on how adoption can be done with love, integrity, and respect. Whether you're a birth parent, adoptive family, adoptee, or just someone who wants to learn more, this is a space for honest conversations and meaningful connections. Join us as we explore the beautiful, complex, and life-changing world of ethical adoption. Let's get started. Cool. We're just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to start off with, I want you guys to share just a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and tell us a little about your family and your work and your interests.
Okay. Yes.
Cool.
All right. I'm Elijah Johanson. I'm 29 years old. I am from Reno, Nevada, but raised here in the South Jordan, Utah area. A little bit more about me. Some of my interests include like sports, really anything that gets me out with people and interacting with people. I love to do stuff like that. So sports, groups, that's right up my alley.
Nice. I can tell that you're a big people person.
Yes.
Feel it from your energy. Okay, what about you?
Kelly DeHaan. I'm 55. Do we have to say our age? That's
You didn't have to.
55, and I've been married for about 35 years. And to my beautiful wife, Kelly and Shelly, we got married anyway. And I've got 4 boys, and they are all married, and I've got 5 grandkids, and I love it. And I love music. I've been teaching high school choir for about 29 years. I was a music director at the Hale Center Theater for 29 years. And I like having a life full of music and people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you say where you were born?
I was born here in Salt Lake.
You were born here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, how did your guys' families talk about adoption in your home growing up?
I think growing up for us and my family, it was always something that was talked about. It was something that was very open. Any questions that I ever had were always answered. I always loved that. And I always felt like, if I ever had something I wanted to talk about, there was no limits or anything like that. We really could just talk about anything we wanted to.
Awesome. So you felt like you could go to them with,
yes,
like,
very
questions.
open.
Wow. It was a little different for me, but still awesome. I mean, it was open. I remember my mom telling me that she hadn't carried me under her heart, but that she carried me in her heart, just the hope of having a child. And I'd always known I was adopted. I don't remember her telling me that I was. Okay. And we would talk about it, but it was kind of a taboo subject.
Okay.
Because they were my parents, and they are my parents. So we didn't really talk about it as much as you did, Elijah.
Yeah.
What do you know about your adoption story?
And again, going back to the openness, I feel like I know quite a bit. My adoption story, I feel like, yes, it's my story, but in my family's, it's all of our story, especially my mom with what she was going through, going through the adoption process. I feel like it was really like all of our story, and stuff like that. It just, yeah.
I love that. I love that it was like a universal, like everyone's story.
So you know your birth mom?
Yes. So I have not met her yet, but I know of her. I know a lot of stuff, like where she is. And we can even go down that rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
But like I know my siblings now and stuff like that. So it got to an open place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, but it didn't start out that way.
No, it did not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But how would you guys describe your childhood with your adopted family?
It was idyllic, actually.
Yeah.
My parents are awesome and raised me beautifully with great expectations, a lot of music, a lot of love. I have an adopted sister, my little sis, Maria. It was a beautiful way to grow up.
But your love for music came from your adopted family?
I think so. My dad plays the piano, and my mom was always singing. My dad was always singing. So it was kind of a big deal. But I have since discovered that my birth mother's mother was a concert pianist, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so there's some ties in, now that I've found my birth parents, or my birth mother, there's some tie-ins with with music, but I wouldn't change the way I was brought up for anything.
Yeah, but it sounds like music was instrumental
Oh,
from both your
yeah,
adopted family and your birth
yeah.
family.
I think I couldn't have dodged it.
Yeah,
I'm grateful for that.
that's really cool. How would you say that how did they support you as an adoptee in your family?
I feel like from the very beginning, I was always supported. There was nothing that I never wanted for anything. Just always supported. Anything that we can do, even with my curiosity as a little kid of like maybe wanting to meet my mom, dad, or siblings and stuff like that. It was always like, well, when the time comes, we will absolutely help you. Just nothing but support. And my childhood was the same way. Just like it was great. I absolutely loved it. And I think that's some kids could probably want to know more about like where they came from and stuff like that. We were just busy having fun and growing up, and so I absolutely loved my childhood, and I felt 100% supported in anything that I did.
What age did that curiosity come?
I would say I think it came from when I was maybe younger, 5, 6s, and maybe around that age. It's just like those innocent child questions. And then, like I was saying, life just is happening and you're having fun growing up and stuff like that. And so time kind of goes by. And then I would say maybe around the age of like 14, 15, 16, I started to get a little more curious. But again, life just is in your face, especially that time you're growing up and about to get into adulthood and stuff. And so I was really kind of more focused on that stuff. The curiosity came maybe a little later in life when I was a little older. Things, I had a foundation and some other stuff. So I think the curiosity came for me maybe a little older.
Oh, that's interesting. A lot of adoptees, like, of course, they're not all the same, but some of them are like consumed by it as children.
Yes.
How was that for you?
I think we represent kind of different generations with it.
Yeah.
Because back in my day, everything was closed, right? There was nothing. There was no open. You couldn't find out. I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
I didn't know the situation. I didn't know what was going on with that. And so I would ask my parents a question about my birth mother, and they really didn't have any answers. They knew just a handful of little things, and none of them would really give me any closure.
Yeah.
And so at about 13, I kind of went to a pretty dark place with it, and I used it as a kind of a weapon against my parents. And this whole I was abandoned, and I kind of lived in that space. As a stinky teenager, I think we want to find everything that's gross about our lives and just blame somebody for it. But I kind of went to a dark place, and I kind of got obsessed with the life I never had, the life that could have been. Even though my life was so good, it was so great, I still, found myself obsessing over the life that I missed out on. Isn't that ridiculous? Especially when I was so happy. And so at that age, I really wanted to find her. And, but online didn't exist. And there was an adoption registry, but you couldn't do that until you were like 21, I think, back in the day. And everything through LDS social services was really closed. And so I didn't have any answers, and my parents didn't have any answers. And so it kind of became an obsession in my teens, and I was able to kind of put it away as I hit my 20s.
Okay. Did your adoptive family know you were experiencing those things and like those feelings? No. You just kept it to yourself?
No, my mom, glorious German woman, very traditional, very buttoned down, lovely, warm woman. But we talked about our feelings, of course. But this whole adoption thing, I could tell it was a really sensitive thing for her. Just because I meant so much to her. You know what I mean? And so I felt like if I brought it up too much, that I was hurting her, which is ridiculous.
But that's a pretty universal
Really?
adoptee experience, for sure. I think so.
I
I
just,
think they want to protect their adoptive
oh yes,
parents
very much
when you
so.
have a very natural human desire within you.
I felt that at an older age that
Okay.
you want to protect your parents that have adopted.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I would do anything.
Yes.
For them.
Yes, you absolutely feel that. And so it's you feel like you're dancing on the kind of a fine line of, I want to figure out this portion of my life, but I don't want to
hurt my mom.
Yes,
my dad, yeah.
Yes. I'm getting emotional right there with you.
Don't start.
Yes. I know exactly.
No, we love them. They're our folks. They're our parents.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you still have blank spots.
Yes, and you still want to get those answers, you know.
Yeah, you want to get those answers.
Exactly.
And two things can be true at the same time. You can love your life and appreciate your adoptive family and be happy with where you are, and also curious and want to fulfill that part of you that has a hole.
Yeah, as an adult now, I mean, that is obvious.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you don't realize that there are two truths. You just see, wait, I have this pain and I have these questions, but I will never hurt my mom. And yeah, so I took the road of quiet.
Because you felt guilty for it?
There was some guilt.
Yeah.
And there was some, it's so strange to say this, Mandy. There was some self-loathing in there for some reason that kind of crept along with me on my journey. And just funny, unanswered darknesses that you have no way to find out about yourself. It's very strange.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit, if you were holding that in those years, and then you said it kind of changed a little bit in your 20s. So what changed?
Well, so there was one day I'd been married for a few months. I got married at 21, very young. And I realized that I could go to the adoption registry and pay my $50 fee and sign in for the registry. And if my birth mother had also signed in, that it would connect us. Okay. And I thought, well, this is finally the chance. And my mom didn't know much about my adoptive mother, but she had been told that that they had kept me in the hospital for 10 days to observe me because my birth mother had been addicted to drugs.
Okay.
And so I'd always known that, and that had always concerned me. And I thought, what if she's in a ditch somewhere? What if she's homeless, or what if she really needs me? And so I did the adoption registry kind of urgently. And I remember turning in my papers and my check and then waiting in the vinyl seat. And there was a little window, and there was this gal behind the window, and she called me back, and just with a smile on her face, and she said, "I'm sorry, sir, there were no matches." And she handed me my file, and then I was dismissed. And I remember just my mouth quivering, and I was a full-grown adult. And I took my file, and I went and I sat in my car, and for the first time over being adopted, I just wept that she didn't, care to do the registry. And to me, that was a huge turning point, actually, where I could kind of just say, it doesn't matter. What matters is my relationship with my wife, who was pregnant, and my relationship with my parents and my sis. And that was it. And I was able to kind of put it away. And then, 9 months later, my son was born. And that was what kind of pulled me out of that dark space where this is concerned. I mean, I'm a happy guy, but I had gone to a dark place. And that was kind of a cathartic moment. And then I was able to just kind of pour myself into my young family and my career and my studies.
Yeah, just put focus on something else.
Yeah, something else.
Wow. What about you? At what point, like you said that you were curious, and your adoptive family just said, yeah, when it's time, like, we will support you. So when did that time come?
I think for me, it probably came as I'm still a younger guy and stuff like that, so I haven't experienced it all. But I think that, like, after high school, sports were over for me, and getting into life and stuff. I think I just really wanted to know where, like, I came from. Like, I knew where I came from, but, like, more of the details to it, of, like, my mom's kind of, my biological mother's details of her stuff, and kind of what played into that. I think that what you could say changed is maybe even just experiences in my life. I just wanted to know more. I just felt like it was kind of to that point. I'm like, hey, and I've always known, like, once you hit this age, like, it's legal, the laws and stuff like that, you can go find out. So I think that probably those experiences and stuff.
Wait, did you know like her name and everything?
Yes, and
What?
so yes, I did know her name, and that's where my story kind of gets a little different. But yes, I did know who she was, and yes,
What kind of stuff did you know?
Like I knew like where she was. I knew that she had more. Yes, and that's why like it. Yeah, so that's crazy to me is that you didn't have that experience.
I would have died to know any of those things.
Yes, and that's what's crazy. Yeah, is you would have died to know that stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of had some of that information. And so I think that for me, like all of us sometime had to pass and some things that had to happen to get to that point where we could get to like, no, hey, maybe talk about meeting and stuff and exploring other options.
Oh my word.
But yeah, everyone's story is kind of different in that ways because I had some of that stuff that you were like searching for. And that's why I'm sitting here listening to your story like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy. You guys really do come from like totally different openness levels because your adoptive parents met your birth mom.
Yes.
When you were born.
What?
And I'm assuming yours didn't.
Yeah.
No.
That was really different. They didn't even, at the hospital, they didn't even let her hold me, my birth mother.
Yeah, because of the situation.
The situation.
Yeah.
She had to be sent away during her pregnancy. She had to be sent to a neighboring town to go through her pregnancy because it was such a stigma with it.
Yeah.
Back in the 1969, and so I mean, they didn't. My parents didn't know her name. They didn't know anything about her except that I had been held under observation for 10 days because of the drugs thing, which I later learned that wasn't the case. Anyway, I would have died for that. Yeah. They have this thing that you can do with LDS Social Services when you turn 21. You can go and meet with a social worker, and they tell you, here is your non-identifying information, and they give you this sheet of paper, and it says the age of your birth mother. She was 14. It says the age of your birth father, and then it says some of their personality traits, and if there are any like biological issues or genetic things that you need to worry about. But it's all very vague. It's so vague, and it was like it answered a couple things, but not much. And I did do that.
Were you surprised that she was 14?
No, that's one thing my mom had told me, that she was 14 or 15, but she didn't know the situation of anything. I didn't know really any of the story.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would have loved for a name even or any part of my story. So have you reached out to her?
So that's where it gets even more interesting, is because there's members of my biological family I have met and some that I haven't met. I have met my dad.
What?
I have not met my mom. And so it's kind of and they're kind of different because he is fully embracing, wants to be in my life, wants to be involved in all of that stuff. We talk on the phone. She is the polar opposite. And I think that she's like kind of dealing with it in her own way. I think like she put it, in my mind, I feel like she kind of put it off for years and years and years. And now that like I'm knocking at the door saying, here I am, she doesn't really, she's not quite ready to deal with it.
Oh, Elijah, man.
Yes. And so like she's still one of the only ones that I have not met yet. I feel like eventually we will get there, and that she kind of needs to process things in her own way and get to that point.
Yeah. Imagine. How was it talking to your dad?
Very interesting. And like, I'll have to show you pictures too, because he looks exactly like that's me in 25 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
what's
that's
even
awesome.
crazier, when we met, he almost had like the same style I did. Like the clothes he was wearing was like something I would wear. It was so interesting. But the whole time when I met him, his mom kept looking at me like, Donnell, talking to me. She said, I keep forgetting you're not Donnell, you're his son. You know, we looked so alike. So yeah, that was super, super interesting because they were like, you know, you, even though that you have been adopted and that you live this life, you know, we've always have thought about you.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I love that for you.
Yep.
Yeah. So did you have more to your story after that happened?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well,
so
yeah.
tell us about that.
So I'm a musical theater guy, right? So I was in New York seeing a show called Bright Star. And I don't want to give away the story, but it has to do with being lost and then found. And I was sitting there watching the show, and the end of Act 1 is terrible. This child is thrown off it's terrible ending, or of the first act. And I sat there, and it hit me as an adopted person so profoundly that I just sat and wept through the entire intermission like a big baby. And then as I watched the second act, you know, everything kind of gets resolved in the Broadway way, and it hit me just as profoundly. And so this is so dumb, but because of that experience, it kind of opened up my thoughts again to my birth mother. And so I did I did the whole Ancestry.com thing, and I sent in my DNA. And then I was able to put it away again. And that was the step that I needed to take. And then a year or so later, someone reached out to me on Facebook, and I ignored it. And then she reached out again, and Nicole, she said, "I think I'm your cousin, and I know your birth mother. And is it okay if I call you?" And so I said, "Yeah." And Nicole called, and she said, "Were you born on May 18th? And I just lost it. I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, your birth mother is my aunt. And is it okay if I call her and let her know that I've found you?" Sorry, I'm a wuss when it comes to this crap.
Not at all.
And I don't know if I can say crap on your podcast. I'm so sorry.
We'll edit that out.
If you could just edit that word out, that'd be great. And so I said, "Yeah." And so we made an arrangement that she would call me at a certain time. And I was in my car and delivering cookie dough fundraiser stuff for my sons. And so I pulled into a parking space and I waited for her to call. And Mandy, it changed my life. And I heard her voice, and we both wept. And we were talking on top of each other for an hour on the phone. And so many answers coming at me, and so much information, and so much love. And so we arranged a meeting, and I brought my wife with me, and I got to meet Carla, and I love her.
Carla is
My birth mother.
Okay.
And we talked for hours. We just sat at her dad's townhouse, and we visited, and I got so many answers and so much love, and come to find out that I was her only child that she'd had. She had to have a hysterectomy right out of high school, and so I was it.
Wow.
And she told me that seeing me and seeing that I had been loved and taken care of took away all of her guilt that she had been carrying around for her life, about the whole experience, leading up to my birth and giving me away, and that she could now just let that go and just embrace me as, her baby. And then the whole guilt stuff came back with my mom and dad, especially my dad, where I was worried, there's this new person in my life who I care about a lot. And she's not my she's not the woman who raised me, but she is my mother. And I love her like that. I love her like my mother. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so it led to all sorts of new things. My mom was very quick to say, I want to meet this woman. I want to thank her for the best gift I ever received. And so they became really fast friends. But my dad has always been just a little more hesitant, a little more old school, and just wanted, so I still have to, be careful around him. Mm-hmm. That she comes to family events every now and then, and concerts and different things, and she's definitely a part of my life, a big, big, important part. And so she now has a child, and she now has grandchildren, and she now has great-grandchildren, and she's an amazing person. She looks just like me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and poor gal. And and she's like sage. She's got all this sage advice, just kind of down to earth. Amazing woman. Anyway, I could go on. I'm going to be quiet now.
No, that's so amazing.
It's amazing.
Do you know, was she searching for you, or was she like waiting for you?
She hadn't.
Okay.
She hadn't done any of the registry things. She hadn't looked. She was ashamed. Mm-hmm. This might be a little dark for your podcast, but she had been gang raped. And I asked her at 14. She said she had made the mistake of going to a party, the wrong party, and she was too young. And she'd been set upon by several boys. And so she didn't know which of them was the father. And so I am talking so much.
I was totally fine.
You're good.
I was doing another show and at the Hale Center Theater, and our production assistant worked for Ancestry.com, and she wanted to know all about my experience with Ancestry, and I told her. She said, do you mind if I find your father for you? And I had thought that was a dead end because, Carla didn't know any information and didn't want to know any information. Mm-hmm. And because there's a stigma with rape as well. Yeah. And so my friend found my birth father and presented me with the information, and I learned that he had passed away back when I was in high school, and had led a very solitary, lonely life, actually. And I wasn't sure what to do with all this information, Mandy. I was like, okay, well, my birth father is a rapist, or make serious mistakes in high school, and is dead, and I don't know how to process all this. And I told my wife, Shelley, I said, I think I need some therapy. I think I need to talk to somebody about this.
Sure.
And
yes.
She said, all right, let's set it up. And so I went and talked to a therapist. Oversharing here, I'm oversharing. I talked to a therapist, and my therapist said, tell me about your life, just like we're doing today. Tell me about your relationship with your parents and your students and your children. And then I told her, about, I didn't know how to process this information about my birth father. And she said, Kelly, you are a happy person. I was worried about being a product of hatred or anger, being a product of rape. She said, you're not a product of rape. Your life is a product of love. And the way you love others, and the way, your students love you, and your kids love you, and your wife loves you, and your parents love you. That is you're a product of love. Mm-hmm. And so then she said, so here's my advice, my professional advice. Get over it. And don't let it affect your life. Mm-hmm. So I paid her $150 and left, and decided to just get over it. And I have, and I even went to his grave. I went to his grave, and I wasn't sure what to do there, how to communicate with him or what to do with this information. So I just cleared it away and just kind of sat with him. I'm still not sure what to do with that information, but it is it's helped me be someone who will not judge others. Everyone has their own path, and mine is weird and wonderful, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. Wow, thank you for sharing that.
That's too much. You can edit
It's
all
not.
that out.
No, that's not. It's very vulnerable of you, and I appreciate it. And you never know, like, what adoptees are also listening and resonating with that, and don't know how to navigate such big feelings. Like,
Yeah, it is a lot of feelings, but I have a base of love from my folks. My mom passed away a year ago, September, and my adopted mother, and just the most amazing woman I've ever met, just an amazing woman. And I still have my Carla, I have my mother, and who was there for me during that loss. That relationship has become even stronger. So I'm really grateful for that foundation of love.
yeah, that's awesome. What challenges do adoptees face that people often don't understand? Kind of a big one.
It is. I think some challenges that adoptees can face, like maybe something that I faced that was a challenge, I believe, was growing up where I was in a state that was predominantly white, and I was black and am black, and
You're still black.
Still black, yes, yes. But as far as going to events, whether you like it or not, it's just blatantly obvious, and like. To me, adoption is something that I feel like it's my story and my family's story. So when you go to places or some public places like that, it's just blatantly obvious. And so especially like school events or something like that, kids coming up to me and being like, "Who's that?"
Wow.
It's like, "That's your mom?" And like, "Yes, it is." And so
Yeah.
I think that like for me, I was maybe forced to share my story, and I felt like it was my story to tell you, but I was kind of forced at times.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. Yes, but it's just, people being curious. I don't think it was anything malicious or anything like that. Just, innocent curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Kelly? Is there?
I don't think anyone knew I was adopted unless, I look a lot like my dad. And so it wasn't, people wouldn't just come up and say, "Are you adopted?"
Yeah.
But when it did come up, I would always have adopted kids, other adopted people come up and say, "Tell me your story, and here's my story." And it's like an instant bond. But I really didn't have a lot of, besides my inner struggles with it, I didn't have to deal with a lot of questions or that kind of thing growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you wish society understood better for adoptees?
I'll let you go first. I'm thinking about that one.
These are my parents. I mean, the parents you see me with, the parents that raised me, those are my parents. And it's like whenever they call them my adopted parents, it almost sounds like slander to me.
Yes.
Because those are my parents.
Yes.
And those are the ones that I love. Those are the ones that I belong to. And another thing that I would like them to know is that we don't mind talking about it. It's not shameful. It's a beautiful part of our story, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has your view of adoption changed as you've gotten older?
For me, especially with I don't know how deeply I can get into it because all of the stuff around it, but we all know that there's alternatives out there to adoption.
Yeah.
And so to me, that really has changed my view as I've gotten older, because I could have been an alternative if you can see it as those options, And so, yes, that has played a huge role to me for sure. As time has passed, seeing something like that.
I think my birth mother was a child, which is a reason to end a pregnancy. Conceived through rape, which is another reason to end a pregnancy. I found out that she was the reason they had to keep me under observation for 10 days was that she had seizures, so her seizure medication They had to make sure that I was safe with all that. So she was having seizures. That's another reason to end a pregnancy. And she didn't.
Yes.
She didn't. And then she made the most glorious choice of all, was to give me away to someone who was fit to raise me. She wasn't fit to raise me. She was a child. And so they made that choice for us.
Yes.
The most loving possible choice to bear us and then to give us away. And as a 13 angsty zitty kid, I was abandoned. No, you were loved into the situation you found yourself in, Kelly DeHaan. You were loved into that place. And very carefully. So I asked her why she chose. I mean, she's not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I asked her, why did you choose LDS Social Services for the adoption process? And she said that she had seen a commercial about how Mormons believe that families are forever. And so she thought, well, if they believe families are forever, they'll take care of my boy or my child. And so she chose that. And I'm like, yeah, way to go, Mormon ads. Yeah, no, just her choice led to a beautiful life for me.
Yeah.
I love
Me
that.
too.
If you could say anything to your birth moms right now, what would you say?
If I could say anything, it would be that, just thank you for making that decision, because we all know that there's alternatives out there. So just, that you were extremely brave for doing what you did, and that I hold nothing against you, and that I'm nothing but grateful.
I love
Would
that.
be.
That makes me a little emotional to hear from you, because you haven't
You
spoken to your
haven't.
birth mom. And maybe she needs to hear that. Like,
She
maybe
does.
she's dealing with a lot of guilt and shame, like you were saying, and
Yes.
and we don't know, what trauma they're dealing with.
Yes.
And I just love that. Thank you for sharing that.
She needs to know how cool you are and awesome you are. And how you look at her.
One day.
I'm going to call her right now. Let's just do a group call.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll
we're
vouch
here with Elijah.
I'm here with Elijah. He's awesome.
You gotta know this kid.
I mean, what would I say to my mom? I say it.
Yeah.
And to have a son, her only child, can look her right in the eyes and say, I love you and I revere you as the woman who saved my life and who made everything possible for me. She knows. She knows exactly how I feel about her. And when her days are rough, she can call me, and we can talk about it. And
That's awesome.
I hope someday that works out for you.
Yeah.
And for your birth mother, she needs to know how cool you are.
Yeah, agreed. What do you think adoptive parents can do to help their adopted children feel more secure, or I guess
For me, I'll just double down on just being open and willing to have those conversations no matter what. Having that peace of mind for me made the world of difference. Just being like, hey, if I have this question, without a doubt, I know I can go right up to my mom and she will absolutely tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so jealous you had that. That's the same advice I would give.
Yes.
Let them ask their questions and then love them 10 times as hard as they, deal with the answers.
Yeah.
I hope all adoptive parents who are listening take that to heart, because you're speaking on lived experience. That is one of the most important things. So
there's a lot. There's a lot under there.
Yeah.
That's quiet and dangerous. But it helps to talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So your mom was really comfortable and open with talking to you. What about your dad? Was he the same?
I think that, I could ask him anything that I could, but I think that he was more, reserved in that type of stuff when it came down to things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
Yes.
Even now that we know the story, my dad, I mean, if I went to chill with my dad or to take him to lunch, we would not be talking about this. Now that my mom's gone, especially, I think he feels more vulnerable about the whole thing. I mean, I am his. I am his child. I'm his only son. And so he's definitely more reserved about talking. So if I had advice for a dads who adopt children, I would say let them answer and just try to be calm and try to be open, and realizing that as they allow you to ask those questions, that somehow the bond is even stronger. And now that it's just me and my dad and my sis, without my mom, that relationship with my dad is everything. But it's definitely harder. They have a different way of looking at it, don't they?
They do, yes.
Yeah, well, I love that you use the word vulnerable, because it's not that they don't want to support you through it. They just like feel a little more vulnerable about it.
Yeah, like there's a fear that I would choose my birth mother over him. It's not a choice. I choose both truths.
Just an additional person.
An additional person that is part of my story now. That's a great way to look at it, actually. But we don't talk about it. We're old school.
Yeah. Well, it's changing slowly. You know, adoption's changing slowly. I think so.
Good.
I think there's still lots of birth moms who want closed, and that's kind of how they are able to process it and like handle it moving forward. But the openness is changing, I think, a lot from over the years, and we're getting educated more and seeing that is more beneficial for everyone involved, and adoptive families too. Like, it's more beneficial for the adoptive parents to have that access and an additional person loving their child.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I can imagine that would be.
It's changing a little bit.
Good.
I hope. Okay, so I have 3 questions that I ask every guest on our podcast. So I'll let you guys take turns answering them. So the first question is, what's something unique about you that not very many people know?
Something unique about me that not very many people know, because I'm so outgoing and kind of in your face, is that I do enjoy my solitary, my quiet time.
Okay. Are you, so you're like an extroverted introvert?
Yes.
Is what we call it.
Yeah,
you want your alone time to like regroup.
Yep.
But then you love people too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, cool. What about you, Kelly?
Well, something that not a lot of people know about me is I love 1960s American muscle cars. I love them.
Okay.
And one day I will have one.
Good goal.
That's my secret.
That is a good
my
goal.
secret.
I love that. Just that specific 1960s.
Late 60s. Give it to me right now.
I love that. What is your favorite form of self-care? I love asking this to men because
what is self-care?
Super curious. What is self-care?
Elijah, what's your favorite form of self-care?
Honestly, my favorite form is going back to kind of the solitude thing, getting on my motorcycle and finding an open road and, just cruising.
Cool.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That is definitely my same self-care.
Yeah.
Do you have a motorcycle too?
No, I don't have a motorcycle. I wish I did. Both my birth mother and my mother would kill me if I had a motorcycle. But I do like to get in my convertible and just go up in the mountains and drive and just kind of self-care myself away with a nice drive for sure.
I love that.
There's something about the quiet.
Something about the road.
And the solitude.
Yes, yes.
That's a new one. I haven't had that answer yet.
Yeah.
Is that happening like on a
much as it needs to happen.
You need to do that right after this. You go take yourself for a ride. I love it. Okay, what is your favorite comfort show or movie?
So, I am still a nerd about this to this day, but I love Jurassic Park.
Oh my gosh.
All of them. All of them. And I can almost go from the very earliest movie to the newest one, and I could go word for word on the scripts. I watch them that much.
Really? Did you like the new one?
I did. I loved it.
It's fun. I really liked it. What about you?
Favorite, my wife and I have a movie we love. It's called While You Were Sleeping. Sandra Bullock.
It's called, like, nobody's heard of it.
Well, maybe they haven't. I'm old.
No.
Every Christmas night, that's our movie. We watch it. We cuddle up. And, that's my favorite.
I love it. Cool. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for being here and for being so vulnerable with me about your story. And hopefully someone out there hears it that connects and needed to hear it. That's our main purpose here is
my pleasure.
Absolutely. To hear it. So thank you so much for being a part of these important conversations.
Of course.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today. Adoption is very personal and looks different to each family. We'd love to hear about your own personal experiences and stories. Please email us your story at info@aguardianangel.com, and your story might be featured in a future episode. If you like what you've heard today, please leave a review and help us spread the word. Speaking of Adoption drops every other Tuesday. Subscribe today so you never miss a single episode. Speaking of Adoption is brought to you by A Guardian Angel Adoptions. If you or someone you know is experiencing unplanned pregnancy and you need to talk or get unbiased advice, our friendly and helpful staff is available to talk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays. We look forward to speaking about adoption with you next week.